Globally, and especially within the United States, an increasing amount of people are migrating towards urban centers. This urban influx has highlighted the need for urban open spaces.
California is home to a significant number of the nation's most densely populated urbanized areas.
According to the 2010 census, San Francisco's population density is over 18,000 people per square mile.
Many major U.S. cities have just about 1/5 of their city area dedicated to parks, and a majority have simply less than 15%.
However, utilizing open urban space for parks is difficult because the demand for land is so high.
I see Parklets as one of many small-scale solutions.
People are glued to their vehicles. Since just 1990, the number of vehicles on the road in the United States has risen 41% to a total of 270 million.
Millions of cars on U.S. roadways clog city centers and make walking unattractive.
And although cities have met the necessary demand for transportation and housing, these priorities come at a cost.
We wanted to learn more about the evolution of urban spaces and the issues affecting cities today.
So we headed to the University of California, Berkeley, our alma mater, to speak with Emily Pillaton, the leading lecturer teaching the senior capstone course on Parklets. What would you say the biggest issues impacting cities today are?
The housing crisis, I think, puts two different pressures on public space. One is there's a growing homeless population, and often we see homeless individuals sleeping in or taking over spaces that the middle and upper class communities have seen as public, and the minute they see them occupied by the homeless, in their minds that changes their perception of the value of the space. On the other side of it, when cities design for cars first and people second, the cities feel like they're not designed for humans, and humans feel that. I don't think that any city can be carless. But some of the best cities that have great public transportation and bike share programs, they're not designing for the car first. They're considering the car as part of a larger ecosystem of humans and bikes and multiple modes of transportation.
One way to build for the pedestrian without competing for valuable housing property is through the creation of parklets.
The beauty of the parklet is that it is sort of taking back space that is usually a parking spot, and it's redefining what that space can be.
We left UC Berkeley and headed to a nearby parklet at the Cheeseboard Pizza Collective to meet with architect Maurice Levitch to learn more about these redefined public spaces.
Parklet is an extension of the sidewalk into the parking lane where cars would normally be parked. And it's a place where people can gather, sit, eat, visit.
What are the benefits of a parklet?
Parklet could be a place to sit and read. It could be a place to listen to music. There could be performances, poetry readings. There could be, usually they're going to have some transportation options like bicycles incorporated with. So we have parking spaces for bikes here, and maybe it's going to be a place for multimodal transportation. Maybe there's some scooters here, some bike share. So I think it's definitely a meeting place, and it's a place to start a trip. I like the idea of the bus stop. I think that's an awesome expansion of the concept.
While the Cheeseboard Parklet offered a great cafe extension, we are intrigued to see what other unique opportunities parklets might hold. So we went to the Oakland-based design firm, Community Design and Architecture, to learn more about the Albany Bus Stop Parklet.
AC Transit, the Parklet sponsor, the city came up with this concept of creating a parklet that could be merged with a bus stop.
But what made this parklet so extraordinary?
This one in particular helps with the operational efficiencies. reduces dwell time, which is the amount of time a bus is spending at a particular stop for transit patrons to get on and off.
From here, we wanted to know what community members at this parklet thought about public spaces and this one in particular.
To me, that's what a public space is a place where everybody feels comfortable to be there and wants to be there. I think it's a big boon to Albany. It makes it a really more livable city. And the more of these, the better, as far as I'm concerned.
It's just nice to sit out in the street and watch people and watch the world go by. It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like bistro life, maybe in Paris,
So we learned that parklets are amazing spaces, but how exactly do they come to fruition? John Francis from the city of San Francisco had the answers to this question.
My name is John Francis. I am a senior planner, urban designer at the San Francisco Planning Department. The parklet process, in terms of once you've sort of decided you want to build a parklet, it's basically in 3 phases. The first phase is a proposal phase, and the second phase is the design, development, and permitting phase. And then the last phase is the fabrication and installation, which is really in the hands of the parklet sponsors themselves.
We're aware that many responsibilities come with being a parklet sponsor. How should a store sponsor manage their parklet?
Very important is that it's well maintained and cared for by the sponsor. I think the importance of making sure that these spaces are maintained such that they can be community hubs. Make sure to clean out the gutters next to your parklet so that when it rains really hard, you're not creating a flood hazard. Every parklet has to have a sign that says public parklet.
What we learned from John is that business sponsors play an integral role in the management of a parklet. So, we reached out to store sponsors to learn about their experience with parklets.
Yeah, you do take on some extra responsibility. I find a lot of beer bottles in here in the morning, so people use it for drinking at night. People sleep in here quite a bit. Graffiti is a problem with it, so we're on the hook for those cleanups, and we can be cited for blight if we don't take care of it in a timely manner. We are on the hook for maintenance costs. Last year we had to disassemble it and move it from the site because there was street work being done by the city. So we were on the hook for a $13,000 storage fee.
What do local residents think about this parklet?
There's a lady down the street who despises this thing 5 years later because it took out 2 parking spaces, but the legions of people who use this every day would disagree with her.
Even though parklets might rack up costly storage fees or attract loitering, they add essential community benefits and provide additional income for store sponsors.
Essentially, we learned that parklets provide tactical urbanism solutions. These microparks only take up space from the street, leaving more room for much-needed housing developments. They promote walkability by increasing the livelihood of streets and designing for the pedestrian over the vehicle.
But most of all, parklets act as small nucleuses of urban congregation, a place where one can sit down, relax, and feel human.
So parklets really are the future of expanding urban public spaces. Like with most parks, there will always be contention over where to build them. And as population size grows, there will be an ever more pressing demand for urban spaces.
However, parklets present a bottom-up approach to meet the demand for urban spaces, while also acting as an essential component of a healthy urban lifestyle.